Welcome to the Business of Pleasure podcast. I am your host, Kash, your sexologist bestie, baby. And you know what? I'm bringing you everything spicy. I know that you guys have had a little bit of time to get introduced to some of the beautiful ladies in the BK community, but when I tell y'all, we are live in Atlanta, Georgia at the Beverly Kandi Social Affair 2025, and I got the toppest, notchest, spiciest, feistiest of the bunch in this room today. So y'all sit back and get fed. Did you hear me? Sit back and get fed. Now to kick in this, I had to bring some of my favorite divas. And you know what? This episode, I'll be honest with you guys, we're going to talk about a couple of serious topics, but we're not going to stay there because ain't no way we're going to have a BK experience that we're not going to get deep. No pun intended. Maybe there was a pun intended. Anyway, to kick off today's episode, I want to invite to you two lovely ladies, and I'm going to start in no specific order because they're both awesome and amazing. Now, we're going to kick in with the diva, Miss Toni. And when I tell you, first of all, Toni, I told you when I fell in love with you.
Yeah.
Toni, y'all, Toni came outside one day and I was like, oh, Toni, I didn't know you was packing like that. And ever since then, I've been in love with her on the low, just a little bit. But more so because of how soft-spoken, but so confident and well-positioned she is. Right? When I tell you that this woman has a heart of gold, that is, she's always doing something to give back to her community. And I'm going to let her tell you a lot more about that in this episode. But this is somebody you're going to want to listen to because she got years and years under the belt of experience in this industry. Please welcome Toni.
Hey, y'all.
How you feeling, Toni?
I feel great.
I would love if you can tell them just a little quick, your elevator pitch about you, how you got into this, and, your BK story.
Yeah. So I have been in the industry for 17 years. I've been with Bedroom Kandi for 9 years. I started out because I was working full-time, part-time, and I was in school. And one day I was at my part-time job. It was one of those beautiful October days. I couldn't even make it to my lunch break. I quit. I went to an expo. I signed up to book a party at the previous company that I was with, and then they went out of, I booked a party with them. And so they eventually was sold by a competitor. They didn't align with my values. And then I just researched Bedroom Kandi, loved the products, loved what they stood for, and here I am, 17 years in the business.
17 goddamn years.
Yes.
Put some respect on her name, y'all. I love that. And I love also, before I even introduce our next amazing speaker, I have to say to you, I love the fact that you don't allow yourself to say anything that you don't feel like serves you, because if y'all didn't hear that message, she said they didn't align with my purpose. They didn't align with my vision, my values. Y'all got to stop staying in places that don't feel right to you. So just sit with that, okay? I got to tell you guys, this next person I'm about to introduce to y'all, I fell in love with her from the day I met her. At Beverly Kandi, she has so many names, first of all, okay? Because we call her what? Mama Tina, Auntie Tina, Sister Tina, maybe sometimes Nasty Tina. Because she be coming with it, y'all. I'm going to tell you. But what I love most about her is she has got the personality that makes you just know that her house smells like sweet biscuits. And you're going to get a nice jar of sweet tea. And it's just going to feel like everything you wanted. It might be spiked. I told you she was spicy. But this is a decorated leader within our community who has really shown her commitment not only to herself, but to every single person that she has a room to share with. So I want to introduce you all to Tina, our BK sister.
Hey.
Tina, can you tell me and everyone watching a little bit about how you got started with BK?
I sure can. This field I've always enjoyed, but I did it as a hobby. I never thought about doing anything like this, monetizing it. Coming up, BC, before children, I used to do the fun parties. Yeah.
Did she just use BC as a
before children?
I'm gonna steal that. I just want you to know, if you ever,
go ahead.
I promise you, if I ever make money off of it, I'm gonna send you a check. But
please do.
That was perfect. Okay.
I used to, do the fun parties. I've even set up bachelor parties for some of my guy friends back in the day. And again, never thought about monetizing it. And then fast forwarding, my good friend, she's like a big sister to me, Michelle, she sent me a link. She says, hey, I think this is something that you're going to enjoy. And I did the research. I flew to LA And I joined.
Wow.
I met my team lead, Frida Hobbs, and joined
Shout out
under
to
Frida. Yes. And the community initially, it was fun. It was my outlet because my job is so serious. So it was fun. But then when I got into the community, meeting you beautiful ladies, and then everything that comes with Bedroom Kandi, the education, I'm here to stay.
I am here
to
it.
stay. Yes.
It was a couple of things that you said that I want to surface to the top, because it actually feeds perfectly into one of the things I want to talk about both of you with. You said your job is serious, right? And we know that a lot of us in our regular busy adulting lives are 9 times out of 10 doing things that might be necessary, but sometimes not always the things we enjoy the most, but the bills have to get paid. And it doesn't mean that we aren't passionate about it, but it might still take a lot from you. I happen to know, Tina, that you and I in an early conversation talked about some of the work you've done in labor and organizing, and me coming from politics. And then Toni, I also know that you do a lot of things in the community, period, first of all. Not just for the people, but for the pets too, baby.
Yes.
Okay, she'll be helping them babies get homes, all right, and taking care of them and nurturing them. But that speaks a lot about your character and your heart, that in more than one facet, you make it, your mission to do something that actually lends purpose to other people's lives. And at the same time that it feels good, it also can be very emotionally taxing, constantly being exposed to all the wrongs of the world. So what I want to talk about with you guys is, how have you used your outside experiences from those realms in your BK businesses and brands as you go about? Because I know we do a form of empowerment, but I find in my own experience, there's a lot of crossover. So can you talk about any of that? And have you done any BK experiences that kind of cater towards, some sort of, the word that I want to make sure that I'm bringing out is a little bit of activism, a little pleasure activism, or things like that. Toni, Tina, whichever one of you guys want to.
So for me, I think education is so important. One of the my reason for initially getting into the business was because I was so shy that I figured, if this can't get me out of my shell, nothing's going to get me out of my shell. And so eventually, once I was teetering on, do I go with another company or do I leave the business altogether? I still felt like there were women that I needed to touch. There's still women. I didn't get the talk, that talk when I was a teenager. So for me, it was trial and error. And so currently, I never want a young lady to feel like that, to feel confused, to feel like they have to do trial and error. And thankfully, I came out unscathed. And so right now, I do a lot of speaking at colleges. So there's a college in Maryland where I'm from, where I would go and visit, as a visiting professor. And I had free reign. And so I would talk about consent. I would talk about just knowing your body, just the importance of sexual health and wellness. And so for me, the education and the service part of that is really important. So, of course, at the end of the class, we turned up a little bit, but I had to kind of tailor that 50-minute class into how can I empower these young adults to be at a point where they're not having unwanted pregnancies, unwanted, visitors in their bodies that they don't want. And so I think it's really, really important that even though we party and what our business is very fun, we utilize this opportunity. Some of us are sexual health and wellness, certified
clinical sexologist.
Yes, clinical sexologist. So I think it's really important for us to take those opportunities that we have gotten through Bedroom Kandi and being in this industry and give that knowledge to a lot of other individuals out there.
That is such a strong point. And it's not just a give back in the ways that people don't really think are necessary, because a lot of times people hear the word sex and they automatically go to the furthest left, and they don't realize it's like a real scale in the middle. So I love what you said about that, and also about giving them the education so they don't have to end up in circumstances with unwanted pregnancies, given that right now our body rights is directly under the gun.
For sure.
Right? In so many states, we have to wonder if we're going to have access to the right care. Tina, I'm not sure if this is something you can speak to, but it just came to my head, so I want to ask just in case. I'm not even sure how those conversations are impacting the benefits and, when it comes to healthcare and stuff like that for individuals who are in the labor force, because a lot of times the unions are advocating to make sure you keep the right things on board. And I don't even know if it's rocked that cradle. Do you know if that side of things have been a little shaken?
I wouldn't say shaken, but for me, I've always been an advocate. Always. Even growing up, my mom used to reference me as the militant midget.
I can see that.
She said you should hear ruckus outside, and she come out there, and I'm the littlest one defending the biggest one.
We saw that last night. We had some fun at the bar. That's one thing us BK people gonna do. We gonna hang out together and talk. But we saw what was the name? The militant midget. Yeah. I'm never gonna let that go. Go ahead.
So I've always been an advocate, but I also, as a lady, there are certain things that I was raised to pay attention to, and one is cleanliness. So I'm always making sure that I'm taken care of, and when I walk outside. But my coworkers, they know that there are certain things that I am a pet peeve. Maybe I'm OCD about it, but I'm always going there. I have something to wipe my hands, and I don't like dry hands. So I'm bringing out my BK items, and can I have some of that? Let me try this. And then when I talk about how our products benefit other folks, like our partners in Africa.
Yes.
So and I know that we're going to touch on that a little bit later. But yes, when I talk about that and people think about that's we didn't realize bedroom candy is more than just sex toys.
Yeah.
Well, it's a whole lot more than sex toys. And like Toni said, the education, that is just bar none what's important to me. We were talking about sharing this story earlier today. I was doing a couples party, and there was a lady in the room, and I was talking about, because we talk about bringing it from the bathroom to the bedroom. And so I was talking about bringing it from the bathroom to the bedroom, and I was sharing how as women we can't just get in the tub or in the shower and just get in and pat up under the arms and wipe between the legs. We have to lift. Sometimes we have to move some stuff and extra rolls and all of that. And we don't realize how that carries smells and scents and stuff like that. And I had a lady in the room. She was like, well, do you do classes? But when she asked the question, her personality type, it takes her a moment to process. So by the time she asked the question, I had moved on to something else. And I wasn't sure what kind of classes she was talking about. So we had to get an understanding.
Oh, you still in the bathroom.
Right.
Okay, we done inch a little closer to the bed.
But it opened up the door for me to have a conversation with a group of young women between the ages of 18 and 25 at her church about cleanliness. Yes.
It's interesting. We go wherever we need to go to get the job done. That is one thing for sure, because I know so many consultants have been in very unconventional spaces but still giving presentations, because when they say I always find it to be interesting when you're actually in a party and they ask you to do classes and they don't realize, baby, you at the class right now. Because I always think we trick them into the information with the good time a little bit. And I feel like it's necessary with the generation of learners we're in. Like, they need everything to feel exciting, like a trend, like a something different, to even be interested in listening. Before we shift into the next segment, one other question that I want to ask you is, even though BK has a multitude of things that we offer, what would you say is the collection or the types of products that you're most passionate about?
Lube.
You just saw her face.
Well, let me tell you something. I could talk about lube all day long. I love it. And I think it's important, especially when I talk to younger people at my parties. Sometimes I make it a mission to let them know you can't feed off of someone else's ego. You can't worry about somebody's ego. You have to worry about your body. And if you're not properly lubricated and using a lube, you are susceptible to vaginal tearing, introducing bacteria into the vagina, and it will burn when you pee. And so even if you don't need a lube today, make sure you have one in your arsenal. So I'm just extremely passionate about lube, and if I need to carry it in my purse so I can pull out a presentation, we're having a conversation about lube.
Going without lube can keep you out of commission for quite some time.
Yes. It can. And people look at it from one angle, so it's such an education point. We have to first get them beyond the point of only seeing it as a answer to dryness.
Right.
And girl,
water is better.
Always. So I don't understand why we would fight more wetness, you know, but I 1,000% agree with you on that. And they don't really understand the health related parts of it too. So, okay. And Tina?
For me, I would say our skincare as well as our candy coated, because you have to show up for yourself. I went through COVID, well, as we all did, but I went through COVID at home by myself, going through a separation during COVID. And so I had to show up for myself in that house by myself. And I used my bedroom candy doing that, my candy coated doing that. So I would say that would be important to me as well.
Ooh, I know that had to be a challenge.
It was. But you know what? Once I got into the groove, showing up, putting on my makeup, and then having to put that face on for Zoom, it made it so much easier and so much better. And then the community. This community, I'm telling you, for those in the back, where the camera at, for those in the back of the room that can't hear me or didn't catch it the first time, this community is the best. When I tell you that, when we always say that we are in business for ourselves, but we're definitely not in business by ourselves.
Right.
And you all just don't know how much you've helped me through this whole process. You know, and I love you all, and I love this community.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. And it helps me with this. And I can go on, you know, because when we talk about advocacy, you know, that's what I live for. This is what I do day in and day out. And so to have Bedroom Candy as an outlet, as that fun, you know, we bring, you know, we put fun in funds, and it's fun.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And you know what's so crazy? How two people gonna have the same experience and have two different takeaways, because I hated having to put makeup on in that house during the pandemic. I thought like we was gonna get a break from having to do all of that, and then I was like, damn, we gotta Zoom at 7 o'clock. When I tell you guys, BK shifted like this, and in 0.2 seconds, everybody had a virtual event up and running. We were not about to miss the COVID experience of the opportunity to still connect with each other, even though we couldn't be next to each other. So I 100% know where you're coming from, but I had just had a baby. So, you know, I was like, I got to put on lipstick. I just got somebody off my nipple.
And remember, our team, we were already ready. Our team,
yes,
we were already ready. We were already doing virtual events. Yes.
Oh, the good old days. I actually had a lot of fun though. We got very creative, and it gave something to get excited. And if I'm being honest, for me, and this might not be something anyone else thought about, but I didn't primarily operate my business online. Even though I had an online presence then, it just wasn't something that I did. I always felt needed to get out, talk to people. That's how I was trained. That was what I was taught. But I counted the rest of that year out because I had a baby. And I was like, oh, we're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
I had a very, very long, tiresome pregnancy. But then I was like, oh, I could nurse at 6:30 and be on Zoom by 7. So it actually kept business alive. And so anybody who feels like they don't want to go outside, it still is a viable way to work a business if you ever thought about it. Now, before we go into y'all know what we do over here, I want to play a little game. Because one thing that we do at a lot of our BK parties is we like to build in some sort of icebreaker or activity or something that allows the room to get comfortable and in best selves. And so I made this little game called the BK Boom Boom Room. I know. It was the best I could think of at 3 a.m. Don't mind me. But really what this game is going to include is I'm going to play a song. And I just, after the lyrics start, want to see how long y'all can sing along.
Uh-oh.
Don't
Okay.
get nervous. Don't get nervous. Now, we are Bedroom Candy Boutique parties. So, of course, we're going to make sure that we use things that set the tone. So, I feel like y'all going to do just fine. But I want to have a little good time. I'm going to start with something that is a little, well, most of these is throwback because honestly, y'all don't make enough sex songs in 2025. Y'all don't give us enough to work with. So all of my playlists still have like 90s and 2000s R&B. Okay, so once I start, when the lyrics start, if anybody, We got our sisters in the room. Y'all can jump in if y'all want. Look, go ahead, Lacey. Boy, you never.
Good as this.
Okay, so you gotta represent.
Yes.
Come on, y'all can sing it, y'all.
Cause my love
It's the what? The bomb, baby. The bomb, baby. Okay, did it quite hit you right there?
Yes.
Okay. Don't worry, Tina. Next one is for you. This next one is just for Tina. In fact, Toni, let's not even help her because I know she got this one. Okay, I have every bit of confidence in Toni on her on this one.
Hey.
I just want you to make me feel like Marvin did. What we said? Oh, baby, now.
Baby.
See, having memories and shit.
Do we have to wait until tonight?
Oh, babe. Come on, Tina. She said.
I have the pollen throat, but yeah, I need your loving.
Okay, everybody know the name of the song? Let's say it all at once.
Sexual healing, baby.
Okay.
Sexual healing.
I put that on in there really just because I need y'all to understand that for a lot of us, y'all can't just be getting a little rough and not putting nothing nice on it. The song is called Sexual Healing because it's supposed to heal us. So be nice to her. Okay?
That's right.
All right, Toni.
Before you go, sorry. Do you want to hold the song to the mic so that it can be heard more?
I was gonna have EA put over, drop it over, but I'll do it. You're right. Okay. Let's see.
So we're doing that one over again?
No. We're gonna go here. We bringing it to the. Okay. I hear the voice, girl. Hold on. 10 seconds of the song. Starting out. Let's see who got it.
Baby, you don't know
What
you do to me.
between me and you?
I feel a chemistry. Come on, Tina. Come and take your place.
Cause the love you give,
It can't be replaced.
oh, we got it. Okay. Now, you know, I picked a couple songs for the reason because there's certain parts of the lyrics I really need the audience to listen to. Because she says you don't know what you do. She said connection. She wants that intimacy. We need to get to the era and back to the time in which pleasure was rooted in connection. So that is one of my favorite songs when you actually like the person you in bed with. This is the last one. And I just want to see what y'all could do here.
Oh.
Look at that. Toni.
Yeah.
She over there like this, y'all.
It's coming to me. Okay.
Okay, now this is gonna be a test for the room. When this beat drops, I need everybody who know the words to sing along with us. I wanna free. What we said, y'all?
Every time I close my eyes, I wake up feeling so horny. I can't get you out of my mind. Cause freaking you is all I need.
Yes, ladies, the harmony. I hear it. Listen, we're gonna have to get the BK choir started next. Okay. All right. The reason why I just wanted to do that is because I feel like music has a way of just bringing multiple generations together into one melting pot. And one of the things that people don't think about is like we get parties with people of all different ages. I was so happy, Toni, Tina, you mentioned
I'll answer
the younger, okay. But you mentioned being able to have that conversation with a younger group of girls, and even you were talking about going and speaking to the young adult women, but it's not just the young girls. We got women in their later parts of life who still don't know so much about themselves. Right. But no matter what, you go to the club, you go somewhere, certain songs come on, everybody in there. So I said, okay, music is the connection. So I only wanted to do that because what we do is supposed to be fun. And it's not really about the song or knowing the words. It's about finding a way for everybody to feel like I don't have to know you. I've been at concerts, I promise you, and perfect strangers next to me singing a song with their heart. We just naturally, we come together. And what we do is, through our experiences, is bring people together. So what I really wanted to kind of go into is on more so that side of it. because I want to get to the nitty gritty. We got some stuff on the table. And I want to talk to you guys about some of your favorite products that you show at parties and experiences that you feel like majority of the people can relate to, connect to, or have a use for, which really everything we got do that, but it's not everything for everybody. So I want to give you guys an opportunity each to pick a product or two or a few and show us, or those who are watching, those products how you would if you was in a party room. Okay? In no specific order, but I think, Toni, you answered first next time, so I'm going to ask Tina, what are your go-tos or some of your favorite items that when you do a party absolutely are always on the demo table?
So I'm always will bring out my makeup bag, and I will talk about some of the things that I carry for my own go-to stuff. I love my candy coated. Even if I don't have makeup on, I'm gonna always have on some lipstick.
What colors?
And that's my, I got that from my grandmother.
Let me help you. What you got here?
So today, I lined my lips with one of our newer, this was our Black History Month drop this year, and it's our Black Cherry. And actually, I just opened the box before I flew down here, and I looked at this color. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to incorporate this with something. And so I still didn't do anything with it. So this morning, when I was getting ready, and my favorite, we're going to show my favorite color. But this morning when I was getting ready, I said, you know what? This has like a little reddish undertone. Let me see how it looks to line it. So I actually lined my lips with the Black Cherry.
Okay, and that's where you get the dark. Because I noticed immediately earlier that it was the contrast. Yes.
My favorite color that I love to wear is Scandal. And so this is a new one. Usually I'm digging out of it with a toothpick. So
you gonna get every single drop.
I had to open up another one. And so this is our Scandal. And I love Scandal. So I'm not like a deep red type person. that red has never been my go-to color. I get compliments in it, but I don't wear it a lot.
Interesting.
I do wear red. Let me be clear. I do wear red on Thursdays.
What's Thursday? Wait, what's happening on Thursday?
So I wear it because, remember, I told you I'm an advocate. So I work for a labor union, but I'm also represented by a union. And the union that I'm represented by, we wear red on Thursdays. And the reason why we wear red on Thursdays is it's in memoriam of one of our organizers back in 1989. A scab worker ran over him crossing on the picket line. And so the red signifies the blood that was shed. And then the international, so the local itself chose the color and chose it, and then the international itself actually voted for that to be the color on Thursdays. I wear red on Thursdays. Okay, now getting back to my lipstick, to my Scandal. So I love Scandal. It's not a true red. It has like a little hint. I don't know if it's like a little hint of a pinkish or what have you. So it's not just like the true red.
It's not like the Pretty Powerful, because Pretty Powerful is like a very deep, potent red, but that one does have, I know what you mean.
And so I put that in the center. And so I have the Black Cherry and I have my Scandal. So I usually, because when we show up, even though we're not demonstrating everything, because we have so many things on our table, I always talk about candy coated, what I'm wearing. And so I'll do that, and I'll pull out the things that I pull out of my makeup bag. And I know you're thinking, what size purse does she carry of the things that I carry in my bag? But the other thing I carry is our hotcakes, baby. And I never...
While she looked at it like ever, right? She stopped to say it.
Never, ever leave home without it. And what I love about hotcakes, number one, it helps with pH balance, number one. But the scent, it smells like pound cake. And that happened organically. It didn't happen on purpose. And, people shy away from that because, they think about, it's pound cake, it's sugar. We can't put that down here, And so, no, it's not. It's just the scent that happened organically. What I love about it only takes a couple of drops. And we know in our community, we're always looking at how we can utilize our products, the different uses for our products, because it's all natural. So even though it was meant for us to just dab down, not internally,
right,
but externally, anywhere where your clothes, your clothes will touch the body, you know, and where you get with sweat, you know. And so, but I also put it under my arms. I put it under the breast,
the breast, yes, child.
And you know, I do have a little fupa. I put it up under there too. You know, anywhere the sweat comes, I put it there, and so that I keep this in the purse
to stop that
because you know sometimes when we go to the bathroom, we're not just taking a little you know, we have to spend some time in there. So when I'm done spending it clean, I'm reapplying.
Freshen up a little bit.
I'm freshening up. So that's in there.
That's the baby. What you need, mama?
Thing.
Oh, okay. Hold on now. I know those bottles. I know those tubings.
So I probably should have talked about our lip balm before I talked about the lipstick. But I love our lip balm. So whether I have lipstick on or not, I put the lip balm on. And it's just moisturizer. And this is something, you know, when people, I got to get my chapstick. Oh, you don't need no chapstick. Was I not supposed to say the other name? Brand. But anyway, this is what you need you need our bedroom candy lip balm.
I like that it's edible.
It so soft. And I love it. Soft.
It's really like butter.
It is.
And I know that people think we're exaggerating sometimes because we show excitement when we talk about everything, but it really, I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting much of it because I felt like this is going to be a cute little giftable or something to give away. So I just ordered a bunch one time. And I used it for the first time. And I think we actually redid the formula when we brought the peach flavor a little bit. And it got so much smoother. Baby. But when my boo kissed me, I forgot that I actually put it on, and he was like, I was like, oh, yes. Yeah, he was like, your lips taste good. Like, what is it? He's always yelling at me for like those type of things. But I'm like,
and if you think these taste good,
I got some taste.
Even better.
So yeah, that one was actually one of the products that surprised me a lot when I tried it because I wasn't really thinking it was gonna be much. Okay, well,
so I have two more, and then Toni, I'll let you take it away. Two more. I love this. This is our pheromone roll-on, and it's our Seduce Me, and you can see it's all worn out and everything. But anyway, I love this. I keep this in there, and you know, you put it on your pulse points. You put it on your pulse points, and I'm going to tell you a little trick that I do. For me, when I put it behind my ear, I like to put it behind my ear. And again, all your pulse points. But then there's another product that we don't have out here. I'll put with it. It has the honey taste. Yeah, no, just with it.
The sweet spot?
Our sweet spot. I put the sweet spot on there.
On the pulse points.
Your pulse points, or where your boo would normally greet you.
Yes.
So however you're greeted. And you know, sometimes that is actually a surprise. So when you know you get greeted and you're kissed behind the ear, kissed behind the neck, and you know the pheromone is already bringing them to you. You understand what I'm saying? It's already bringing them to you, and then when you get that, and it's like, well, wait a minute. Instead of this dinner we have on the table, let me have you for dinner first.
Yes, I am the sweetest spot.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
You know what's so funny? Because the sensory element. As soon as you started saying it, I said, okay, lure them in with the pheromones.
Yeah.
And then let them get you edible. And you know what? People like with the sweet spot. It's an external, guys. Just, I know you guys have seen it before, but this one actually goes on, gets warm, and like sensitizes you. So that area that already be a little tingly is going to tingle more, but it tastes like honey.
And I also roll it, believe it or not, I also roll it
down the center of the breast.
Down the center of my breast, yes.
Well, you can also roll it behind your knees because you never know where your legs are going to end up at the end of the night.
And the ankles, the knee, behind the knee.
Now that one I ain't never did. That's right. Okay, you know what? This is why I'm talking to my girls. She said, let's surface that to the top. Toni, please give that a game again.
Yes, you could also put it behind your knees because you never know where your legs are going to end up at the end of the night.
That's right.
Serious.
Exactly.
Here, so
and
go
on the
down,
ankles.
and
that's right.
I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
Because remember, everywhere you have a pulse point, and you also have the pulse points at the ankles as well, and for the same reasons.
Yes.
Because you never know.
Where the legs gonna go?
There you go.
You know that.
And then, last but not least, what I keep in my makeup bag. Is my candy.
It done jumped out your hand. Is it on?
Is my I know, right? Is my Kandi Kisses, y'all. Looks like a lipstick. It is TSA friendly.
Her eyes just got. Did anybody see that happen to her eyes?
It is TSA friendly, but it's a clitoral stimulator. So now when I go through TSA today to catch my flight, they're going to be wanting to check my purse probably. But anyway, it's a clitoral stimulator. It hits just the spot when you need it to hit the spot. And that's what I love about it. It's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Turn on.
And it's petite. That's one of my
favorites. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Kandi Kisses.
We might need a little charge on this, but it's very powerful. I love it. It stays in the purse. And you know, them 8,000 nerve endings down there, you know, sometimes they just, you know, I'm on the road traveling a lot, away from home, in the car, and I don't know how many folks watching it, but you know, hey, we here to tell the truth, right? Sometimes
we listen and we don't.
Sometimes,
judge.
right? Sometimes that passenger seat, I'm fumbling in that purse because I got 5 more hours to get before I drive before I get home.
So you know what's so funny? I use Groove for that. And what I do is because Groove is our panty vibe, y'all. I put Groove in when I have a long drive, and then I put the mic button on so that they can pick up the music in the car. And I be in traffic like. They be like, why is she so happy? State Trooper pull up on me. I'm like, what's up? That Groove, I'm telling you, and it's sound responsive, guys. Kandi's done it on the podcast before, but for those who have never seen BK Groove, you're going to want to make sure you go and get you a consultant who can get you the hookup on that one, because that right there, they can literally talk to it, but your music and your car and all that stuff, it will pick up the music and turn it into vibrations in your panties. And or if you anything like I happen to hear one of my BK sisters over here earlier have a little response because somebody did a little growl. If you like the sounds of a primal thing, get that Groove and have that man make them noises into it. I actually, while giving him oral, put it in my panties too sometimes, and I let his moans vibrate me. So I tell him, you better feed this coochie with them bones. I want to hear all of it.
Okay.
So, you know, if y'all like to hear him moan and you want to give him a little motivation, let him know that his moan will make you come.
Okay, that part.
Okay. All right. No, I'm sorry, y'all. We don't went a little sidebar. This is why we can't. Ooh. Okay. Toni.
Okay.
Talk to me, baby.
We're going to start off with some body butter.
Okay.
So I like to talk to my customers and let them know we're not just sex toys. We are a lifestyle company. And sometimes I'll have a customer, you know, I won't even open it yet. And they're like, oh, I don't do that. But yes, you do this. You do. We all have skin. You do this. And so this is our butter from our Giving Tree collection, Butter Me Up. This scent is called Grateful. And all I have to do is pass it around and let them know, see how it smells, and it captures them. So I love this scent. What I love even more, we talked about service earlier. So proceeds from our Giving Tree collection go to women and girls in Africa to help them live independently and thrive. And so you got a 2 for 1 because you're helping the people out, but you're also hydrating your skin. So it starts with foreplay, but before foreplay, we have to take care of ourselves. So you want to hydrate your skin. You don't want him going down on you and seeing ashy ankles, ashy hands. Like you know what I mean?
And light-skinned sisters, it happens to us too. I took off my shoes one day, it looked like I still had the sock on.
And so I also keep this in my purse because when I'm at work, you know, the lotion in corporate bathrooms are not, you know,
they're not really,
not hydrating at all. I'm sorry, the soaps, they're not hydrating at all. So as soon as you wash your hands in the restroom, you know, I'm running to get my Butter Me Up and I put this on. So not only does the scent just, you know, it permeates, but people can smell it. But I show this at my parties just to let them know we're not just sex toys. You use lotion. So this is one of my favorites. I love this.
I think Butter Me Up is like one of our top body products in the company as far as like even when we look at sales, Butter Me Up never ever isn't moving.
Yeah.
So that means you got to get it before it's out of stock. Make sure y'all hit up our girls. Okay.
So next we're going to talk about helping hand.
Oh.
So with helping hand, we also need a lube. And with this helping hand, we also need a penis.
Yes.
So helping hand is a male masturbation sleeve. It's for one of those not tonight I have a headache nights, or if you want to bring somebody else into the bedroom without really bringing somebody else into the bedroom. So the way that I'm going to demo this, you must use a lube, you must use a lube, you must use what?
A lube.
Yep, and it's giving silk,
Okay,
baby.
so I'm going to go ahead and hydrate this up with our silk.
Toni, can you do me one quick favor? Because I want the camera to see how silk looked when you poured it in. So
Yes, and we're also going to do a little demo with silk.
Oh,
But
y'all see
look
that?
at that. Get into that. Yes. All right. So I have him lubed up. Right. And then once it's lubed up, you're going to slide it onto the penis. Oop, he's coming already.
Yes.
And you're going to give him the
I was
best
waiting.
hand job he's ever had.
I promise you, Toni. I was saying, you know how you waiting for your food when your parent cooking? I was sitting here like this, just waiting for her to slide it on.
Yes, and so remember when I said it's like having somebody else into the bedroom without bringing somebody else. So what you're going to do is you're going to go halfway down and you're going to give him oral on the tip. So that's two different sensations for you. Now, once you've had a good time, all is well in the world, your arm is tired, you're going to pull up and this will swallow for you.
Yes, so do what you do.
Okay, and then we're just going to turn it inside out to clean it because we got to clean our toys. And actually, I'll give you this. Oh, he's still coming.
He's still coming.
Yes,
Yes, he
yes.
is. And see, everybody has their kinks and their fetishes, and one of mine is I like to see when men come.
Yeah.
Right? When my man comes. I don't want you to think they just you. But it's something for the people who are visual. That look in its own is just like, I don't know whether it shoots, oozes, don't matter. So I love how visual silk is.
Yes, and so I paired it with our vitamin D plus. The thing about vitamin D plus, you can also put this on a suction in the shower. Do what you do. No judgment. As long as it can suction, you can use that thing.
And you know what I always tell the girls who get scared of the size of vitamin D plus? I go, you control how far in it goes. If you would like girth, get your vitamin D plus because it's a little bit thicker, but you don't have to put the whole thing in you. For my size queens, y'all see what it do.
Right. And then let's go back to the lube because like I said, we can talk about lube all day.
Yes, ma'am.
So speaking of lube, what I normally do at my parties, just to talk about the importance of it, because you can have every intention of going home and putting it down on your partner. But if somebody cuts you off in traffic, you didn't drink enough water, you're hormonal, for a various number of reasons, you might not properly lubricate. And I told you what happens if you don't lubricate. So what I typically show people, just the importance of using lube. I need a volunteer.
Sure.
So I'm going to be the consenting hole, right? And so try to stick your finger into this dry hole with no lubricant. It's hard, right? Okay, consenting now. I'm gonna go ahead and lube this hole up. Now go ahead.
I'm about to insert. Is that okay?
Yes, it is.
I love the consent. Yes, baby.
Look at that. Okay, let's get a room. So that is just the importance. Did you see how easy it was to slip and slide right on in that thing because we use lube?
But those who don't realize, silk has silicone in it as well. It's 9%. So it's a little bit more slippery than the average water-based lube. So if you need that extra tiny bit, it's so perfect for that. And a lot of people don't. I love that you talked about the tears because they don't realize that when we say like, oh, you know, he beat it up, or if you have a really endowed partner or any of those type of things, it might feel okay, but then afterwards sometimes women, they can't even walk because of how hot and you know. So I'm so happy you spoke on that. Yes.
And I do want to mention with the helping hand, even though I demoed it with silk and I talked about giving head, I normally pair it with our Delicious Encounters lubricant. It is a flavored lubricant, and so you can have a good time with that. And it is water based, and even though it is flavored, there's no sugar, so you don't have to worry about any infections or anything like that. Like I said, we take our lubes very seriously.
Yes.
Take our products very seriously.
Yes, we do.
Everything's
A
body
big,
safe.
big shout out to the late Dean Elliott.
Yes.
Because when I tell you, baby, that man did it. A lot of people don't realize his story, that he started making the lubes for his wife. She was having an issue with things like KY and stuff like that. And he was constantly giving her infections. So in a quest to actually help his wife, he hired a scientist to design the formulas to really find something that was going to be as natural as can be, that wasn't going to give her those irritants. And then it became something way bigger because, so he took one formula and he started to take that same formula and apply it to the other lubes, but maybe just the Delicious Encounters, he added the extract for the flavor, right? Then he said it was so crazy to me. I was like, wow, so this entire company with all these fantastic products all came because a man wanted to solve a problem for his woman.
I know that's right.
If that ain't something you could support, I don't know what it is.
That's right.
Okay. So I share that because, we lost Dean recently, and I know our whole community is still feeling it. And the Business of Pleasure podcast is actually going to be doing a memorial episode for him. So make sure you guys tune in and get to see Dean in all his glory. But it is so amazing that everything he created is still living beyond him.
Kash,
yes, ma'am.
I know you were saying that our go-to products, and I know you're going to get into some of the other products, but I just wanted to point out that we have products that help for specific things. And so I would like to say that even though these are things that I carry in my purse, we still have a plethora of products that are my go-to for whatever purpose.
For whatever reason.
Right.
Yeah, and that what you just said is like I think the foundation of consulting, right? Like people look at a consultant. If I hire an image consultant, it's because I think they're going to make me look good, right? Or they know something about fashion that I might not. And I think that when it comes to these types of purchases, my advice, go to the website and put into connect with a consultant. You'll put your zip code in and it will automatically pair you with someone who's local to you. And the reason why this matters is because, adult products, baby, once you use that and it don't work for you, you can't send it back and you can't regift it. Hey girl, I tried this toy last night, didn't work, you want it? Like it goes into a drawer that never gets open. So it's one of the areas you can get the biggest form of buyer's remorse. But also with body products, if you don't know the first, second, or last thing about some of the things you talked about, Toni, when you talked about natural ingredients and how can you tell something's good for you. So get a consultant. As you can see, they know I didn't even really gotta say nothing, y'all. They showed up and showed out today. Okay. One last question I want to ask you before we go to the Money Making Monday segment, and is how do you guys care for yourself while caring for others? Like I said, Toni, I've always loved your work. I know that you and an organization that I saw you affiliated with, you got an event. It was a cafe. I feel like I saw a while ago. We're doing things, feeding the homeless. I know that one of our first trips that I took with you, you were like, if you're not using your toiletries.
I can't believe you remember that. I love that.
They don't think I really love them like I love them, but I really do. I'm just kidding. I'll never forget because it was so amazing to see that like you went to every single person, give us the toiletries. I like to give them out to the homeless. And so it shows that you're very intentional. And the same thing goes for you, Tina, and anybody who's around you. They feel the warmth, they feel the love, they feel your honesty. You're so transparent, and we see your love. I want to know, how do you take care of you, and what BK products are part of your self-care regimen? If you could name maybe your top 3 that are part of your care process.
Part of my care process would definitely be our candy coated face cleanse that we now have. It was designed by one of our own, or created by one of our own consultants, who's also a chemist as well. So I love it. I use it when I'm bathing. Our balance bar. Or our fresh. If I'm traveling, the balance bar.
That balance bar.
When I'm home, I use the bar, but when I'm traveling, I use our fresh because it's just easier to travel with. Yes. And then of course, I am a moisture. I told y'all about my hands. I don't like dry hands, and I do not like a dry body, baby. Nothing. I'm gonna say, for those in the back room, ain't nothing on me dry.
She's wet, not
dry. But I'm always moisturized. I love our products, our butter, our body butter, our Nourish, which is more of a creamy. More of a lotiony. Yes.
Okay, and Toni?
So I have a couple. Right now, my newest obsession is our Age Renewal, the whole skincare line.
Yes.
I am going to be approaching my big milestone birthday in a few months, so I'm trying to preserve any way possible this phase. So I love that. I love the way it makes my skin feel. And then when I'm just in the bathroom and I'm doing my routine, I'm very intentional about taking my time and using every product I take my time. I wait for 2 minutes for one product to dry.
And all those things. Yes.
And so when I wake up, I want to be glowing. And so when August comes and I celebrate this birthday, I still want people to be like, oh, you're how old? And so fingers crossed. But I also love hot cakes because, as you mentioned, you put it under your arms for quarantine. I'm like, I'm not wasting my deodorant. I, put it under my arms. And then, it helps with intimacy because my partner, my husband, when I have it on, he's like, oh, okay, I smell cake. And I love that.
Yeah.
And so,
That happened to me once, Toni. I'll tell y'all after you finish, I'll have y'all cooking up how that played out.
And then my newest favorite is our Delicious Encounters card game.
Oh, yeah.
And so that really helps. A couple days ago, my nephew did a little interview with me, just 2 questions about my daytime job. And the last question was, what do you do for fun? And I was almost embarrassed because I don't do much, but I play with my dogs, my puppies. Those are my world. And so I did say that, but at the same time, intimacy with my husband is very important.
Right.
And so we just pulled out the Delicious Encounters cards. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm taking care of myself. We're taking care of each other. And it helped with intimacy. And so, everything going on in the world, you have your daytime job. You just want to take moments where you enjoy just yourself, your partner. And so for me, that closeness, that intimacy with my husband does help because it helps me to get up and deal with whatever it is I'm going to deal with when I walk out the door the next morning.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Hotcakes is like a deceptive sex product, I think, too, because it's absolutely not intended for it. This is not in my current relationship with my previous ex-fiance. I just, we use it when we come out the shower. He thought that was like my signal.
Same, yes.
I was just like, but so he was like eating it a lot, y'all. Like he was eating it a lot. And who am I to deny starving him? Like, I want to tell something. You hungry? So I'm just, sure, man. Sure. But I did get curious as to. And then one day he's like, why don't you just ask me? Like, you don't have to. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I said, baby, that's my care product that I just put on after the shower.
Antimicrobial properties.
It's what keeps it right. And he was like, because anytime you have bedroom candy stuff, I feel like you try to tee up something. What was I supposed to say? No, honey, that's enough. No more oral sex this week, please. So I love that you said that because I think it is. Listen, ladies. It may not be on purpose, but if it can help, Okay. The last thing I want to say, or ask you guys to share with everyone is a lot of our consultants do bedroom candy as their primary main business. Some of them do it as a side business or something like that to get some extra money. Some people do it just because they want to have fun. Like you said, Toni, it's not even always about the money. And but also some people do it with other businesses or things that they work. So what I would love to ask you guys just to speak about is, as a consultant, how you classify yourself and how have you allowed the business of pleasure to feed you, and have you found it worthwhile?
So for me, I introduced myself as a clinical certified sexuality coach because I am so passionate about what I do. And even though, I do the education part at my parties, we're going to party. You might get some education out of it, but we definitely party. And so I think that's really important, just to stay true to myself. I can adapt to any environment when I go in and I see what the demographic is. But my foundation is to educate you, empower you, and we're going to have a little bit of fun as well. So I think that's really important. And your end of your question was...
And would you classify yourself as someone who works bedroom candy full time? Or?
I don't work it full time. I do have a day job, and then I have another business as well. But also, my ultimate goal is to do more speaking engagements to young women at colleges and schools, just so that, I remember back in elementary school, the teacher sent home a permission slip saying, we're going to talk about sexual health and wellness. Sign here if you don't want your kid to attend. And I remember being the only kid in class. So like I said earlier, I didn't get the talk. But even though there's other kids in the community who didn't get that talk for a number of reasons, maybe they don't have their parents in the household. Maybe they're being raised by a guardian. At some point in their young adult life, I do want to expose them to certain conversations and just how to navigate the world. So that's important to me.
So the business has created another vehicle angle to kind of use the public speaking as a form of working. Okay,
Yes,
I love that.
yes.
And Tina, how do you classify and how do you work your BK business?
Well, I'm not certified yet
Okay,
as
you'll
an
get there.
intimacy coach, but I do consider myself an intimacy coach. In
You are an
fact,
intimacy expert,
yes,
yep.
that's right. And in my team is intimacy innovators. So I am an intimacy innovator.
I love it.
I don't work it full time. It is a part-time job for me, but it is my retirement plan.
Oh.
And I'm looking on retirement's door within probably the next year and a half, if not sooner.
Okay.
So yes, it's my retirement plan, and I work it because I'm a walking billboard. So usually I will have my BK earrings on, but if I don't, all you have to do is smell me. You don't have to get too close, and so once, you're asking what you have on or what have you. So I'm a walking billboard, and it opens up the door to have the other conversation. Like Toni was saying, there's, as the conversation we talked about earlier, there's some type of stigma when you start talking about sex. Sex toys, as if we're not supposed to
Talk about
pleasure, like it's not supposed to be pleasurable.
Yeah.
But bedroom candy is so much more than our sex toys.
Yes, I agree.
In fact, that's not even the majority of our SKUs. It's probably 25% of our SKUs are the toys. And so just having those conversations, and I enjoy that. I don't do a lot of games at my parties, but you have fun at my parties, but you get educated. There's always going to be some education there. And I have an aunt. I'm not going to say her name, but I have an aunt, and she accompanied me with one of my parties. I needed some help. I anticipated a big group, and I needed some help. And I remember after the party, the whole ride home, it was about an hour and a half drive from Houston back to Beaumont. And the whole ride home, she was like, she calls me Niecy Poo. Niecy Poo, I can't believe you really taught me something. And and she was just sharing. But she also had that taboo about the toys. And when she realized that we, again, are a company of so much more than that.
Baby, we are the people who open the door to your gateway to pleasure. Okay, when you haven't tried, you can get a little sample, and that's what I love. A lot of our products are great for introduction and all of that. So I love that you were able to expose somebody in your circle to what you do, because also that's a big thing. They don't see us doing it, so sometimes it's like they immediately go one way, and then people come and they're like, "Oh, this was what y'all."
Right.
Yes. So thank you guys for, first of all, taking time to sit. All of you guys flew in and did such a great job. They killed it at the social affair. But I appreciate you guys coming and feeding our audience with a little bit more.
Thank you for having
a little
us.
extra taste of the candy. All right, guys. That has been this week's episode of the Business of Pleasure podcast. I am your host, your sexologist bestie, Kash. Make sure you guys come back next week, because we bring in more spicy BKBCs, and y'all see they got the real work over here. They got the gems. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.